All right, squad, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up places in our new Luxury Stays app. We're going to do the forms. We're going to edit, update, new, create. We're going to lock down the pages so that only admins can access them. Let me show you a quick look. This is what we're going to end up with. You're going to be able to create a new place here. You're going to be able to edit and save and have a great time. So let's jump in. All right, let's jump in. So let's fix up this page header because it's a bit lame. So we're going to go PX and it's going to be 4, I believe. If we just check our main content, let's go content container, and what are we wrapping it in? P4. So we'll go P4 or PX4 there, and I think, let's go P4, and then we're going to go PT8. I want to give it like a bit more, yeah, maybe something like that. So I guess that's okay for now. Nothing special, just showing the listings. And let's go text large. Yeah, text XL even. Give it like a heading style. So that's that there, that's lined up, that's good to go. What we need to do now though is, because the first things first is we actually need to be able to create places. So, because that's the first thing. So dashboard listings. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a new places controller. .rb. All right, and I'm just gonna grab the listing stuff, right? Super easy. Dashboard, and this is gonna be places controller. And then places, and then the policy scope places. Place, sorry. Now we need to set up a policy for that so we can actually restrict access. So we're gonna go place policy.rb, and we're gonna jump in here, grab, copy, paste, pasta, my favorite thing to do, faster than the chat GPTs. Place policy index. Now, this is what we need to do. The only people that can edit places or view this link are admins, all right? So what we wanna do in our application policy, I want to create here def admin. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so we already added the user.admin method, but now what we're going to just say is just here. It's just a convenience method, right? So if we go grab that admin, and now we're going to say, are you allowed to view the index if you're an admin? All right. Who can scope these or see the index if we put it on here? Just admin, otherwise none. For now. Realistically, we probably could have all for everyone because it's going to be a drop down if you're adding something, and if we do hit the index right, but realistically we probably won't be. So that's fine for now. We can always fix that if it's a problem. Now if we go index here, we should be able to see, we need to create the route. That makes sense first, Ken. So here, let's go take this places. And now we're gonna rename this places. I like to do the comments and stuff. Like you won't see, it's probably not common in Rails, but I just like to have it really easily labeled. Just when this gets big, you can easily scroll for these. They just stand on a different color, just for me. So that's fine. And now we should have a places thing. It's gonna crash because we don't have an index, which is fine. So now we go into our views, we go into our controllers, V1, dashboard, create a new file in places/index.html.erb. Boom, bang that out. Now we're gonna grab what we did in the listings because it's the same layout. And we're gonna go places. And now, there we are. Okay, so we've got listings. And we have to fix the link because you saw that it changed, but didn't change back. So if we jump into our components, we go into our main navigation, go here. You can see how we created this little link thing last time, which makes it super easy. We're gonna go, this I'm gonna just guess, due to convention, this is gonna be called places path. Now, bang, there we go. We got places and we got listings. All right, look at that. So now that we've set up the components last time, it's so much easier. We don't have to muck around. Okay, so what I wanted to test though, just to make sure, so new incognito browser, let's see if we can hit that. Unresolved method admin for nil class, okay. So we don't want to ever crash like that. So let's go into our policy and application policy and just check a little ampersand here. You could do user and user.admin, but this is simple, boom. Where are you doing this? It's in the scope. Okay. So realistically, that's in here. There. Okay. All right. I'm not allowed to place policy index. Okay. So that's not what we want to show, but it's doing its job. So you're not allowed to access that champion. So, but we're going to fix that. So let's go here. We've got this little, so this is throwing a not authorized error, right? You can see pundit not authorized error, right there. We're going to catch that in our application controller. And we're going to chuck it down here. We're going to rescue from pundit not authorized error, right? That's the same error with not authorized, right? So I'm going to just grab a little method that I had last time. Where is it? There. So we're going to just create a little method down here called not authorized. And where do we send you? Back to the root path. Now we go, boom. Sorry, champion, can't get in. All right, so that's perfect. That's what we want, okay? So we've got some authorization there, no can do. Let's try something else. Let's go and sign in. And we have storm@email.com, which is an organizations user. Sign them in. All right, dashboard, boom, look at that, we set that up. But now we're gonna hit this little places link and see what happens. Boom. So even though they're authenticated, they're not authorized. So we've cut them off. We said, sorry, champion, can't go there. Bang. But obviously, we don't want to render this, okay? So let's fix that up. It's all a bunch of fun and games. You've got to stop all the people doing the things they're not supposed to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a little option called should render. It's going to default to a proc, and it's going to be true. Right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to hook into the component render method here, and we're going to just say should render. Right? So it'll render if it should render. We've defaulted it, so these links should always show. Now what we can do though is we can say, okay, well, the places one, we don't actually want people to see that aren't authenticated. So I'm going to add in this little should render here. We can just test it quickly. Should render false, disappears. Excellent. But what we're going to say is current.user.admin. Okay? So we want to render this link only if you're an admin. So nothing for you there. Perfectly here for me as an admin over here. All right? So we've solved that now. We've got links. They can't get in. They can't hack it in. They can't do whatever they want. But the admins can see it, and the other people can only see listings. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want, right? So this is basically admin and basically our authenticated users. But this is how you do multi-tenanted applications as well. You use your policies to scope down records to what people can see, and then you give them access based on their role, right? That's it, simple as that. So we're doing that in here. So this is a relatively more of something you'd actually create in real life rather than just a to-do list or just a directory. So we're creating a little bit of complexity, but that's all part of the fun. Okay, so now what we need to do is obviously we've got no places, which is lame, but let's go through here. I'm just gonna close all of that off. And I wonder if everyone can see this, if I make this slightly bigger. There. So we've got V1 dashboard, we've got our places controller, right? So we've got index, that's fine. You can scaffold all this. I like to do it by hand sometimes just so that one, I get practice, but also two, I actually only add the things I want. So I don't have to delete a whole bunch of stuff, which could be annoying. We're gonna need new. We're gonna need create. We're gonna need edit. If I can type, edit. And we're gonna need update. Destroy. I don't know if we need to have destroy right now. It seems a little bit risky. We're gonna have here, we're gonna have def place params. And then we're also gonna have a method called set place. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, so to set a place, I'm just gonna do this. So we're gonna go params.fetch, and it's gonna be place or an object. And we're gonna go permit. So what parameters are we allowed to change? So what do we have in our places? I think we only have title right now. That's the wrong one. We've got place type, so we can do that. We'll allow that, place type ID. Title definitely. And then the geo region. And then the description. Like that, yeah. Description, geo region, place type ID, title. That's what we can send through, so no one can change any params later on. If you had any secret ones you didn't want them to change, no one can do that. Excellent. Okay. Now we need to do something else. We have to create a little component because we need a little button here that says new place, right? So you can actually click on this guy and create something. So let's do that. Now this is like such a generic component. So we're gonna go Rails G view component. Let me clear the screen. View component, and it's just gonna be called button. Our little favorite button. Smash that in, boom, there you are, Mr. Button. Now, inside of our views, components, button, here's our button component. And what we wanna do is we wanna render that. So if we go down to our little dashboard places, right, so our header content, we're gonna need actions. So in our component dashboard layout page header, right, we got a component, and we got this. Now, we have the header running along here, and we're gonna chuck this in a span, there. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a div, and we're going to align this. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna give this flex, item center, gap 1, and this is gonna be called, it's gonna be heading right. Right, so this is the heading. We also want to item center all this. Is that gonna work? Heading right content, we just need to define that. So here we're gonna render another slot, renders 1, heading right content. Okay, so that's all good. Now, we also wanna push this whole thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go justify between. I'm just gonna sort that there. Okay, we're still golden. Now, in here, we're gonna have header. And now we've opened this up, so we've got to close it. So now we've basically opened up our header here, so we can inject content into it. And here we're gonna say header.with heading right do. And I just hope I've named it right on the other side. Let me just double check with heading, no, so it's just heading right. Renders 1 heading right, and that's heading right. Okay, cool. And then here we're just gonna say test. So that doesn't look 100% just yet. What have we done here? Let's have a look. So we've got header content, and then it looks like it's in the span, which is not what we want. I got to close the span there. That helps. There we go. Okay, so you can see we're now rendering that on the right-hand side. So now we can inject content into that component and shove it to the right. That's exactly what we want. Okay, cool. Now, what we want to do on our index is we want to render our button. So this will be component button, right? There's our button template, okay? So now we're gonna go in and actually fix that. And what I think we should fix just quickly here is I've given this text XL to everything. I wanna just give it to the title only. So if we ever use anything else, there we go, just a button. Okay, let's move on to our button. I have done tutorials on this before, so I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'm probably gonna just copy paste the button. So I'm just gonna copy paste because this is very much the same in every single app. It's got a whole bunch of logic for like when it's busy, if we're using an href versus using a form button versus using a plain button. So it's just got all that kind of stuff. It's in the source code, so be my guest, enjoy. And then I'm just gonna grab all the button component logic and shove that in there because it's all the same. It's got a stimulus controller, it's got all the good stuff, variants, all the stuff that I just don't want to set up again. And then it's also got a controller, which I'm gonna do here. Inside of button, it's gonna be controller.js, and I'm gonna dump it in there. Just check out the source code online if you wanna go through it. I'm not gonna go through it right now. It's just a bit of a time chewer. So let's go, we got that. Now when we render this button, so we don't need this heading thing anymore, but when we render this button, we're gonna render, and it's got content. So this is gonna be new place. It's gonna ask for style, under method style. Okay, I need to fix that. So in my basic application view component base, I just need to add in the view component style variants, right? We also need to add in, what else do we need to do? I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. There we go, we've got a little place button, boom. Right, so that's the default, but then we can play with the whole different, like you can have variants and all that kind of stuff. So we can go variant, primary. I don't have primary colors set up now. Button. Yeah, we haven't set up any of the colors in this thing, so this whole thing. We've also got sizes. So we got size small. That doesn't look like it's working right now. Okay, well, I've got to fix all the styles up for this guy. But anyway, we've got a button. That's all that I care about right now. And then I also want to have here attributes, and I want to go to href. And for simplicity's sake, we're going to go to we need to add our route. So let's just check our route. Rails routes grep place. So we want the new v1 dashboard place path, like that. There we go. All right, so we got our button working, functioning. It looks decent. I mean, it's pretty average, but still nice and clean. We can keep moving on. Let's fix this problem. So we got new is missing a template. Great, no worries. We'll create that new.html.erb. Now there's two ways to do this. You can do a full page to do the new thing, which is cool. Probably gonna do now, or you can show it in a modal, right? So it depends on your application. Modal's obviously more complicated. For now, just gonna run with this. Super easy. So we're just gonna copy all the stuff and we're gonna go here, new place, right? We don't need a button anymore. This could just be back, right? And this will go to this will go to v1 dashboard places paths. And then this is gonna be a new place, a new palace. Let's see. There we go. Right, and then we hit back. Cool. New place, back. Cool, we got navigation. Lovely, look at us. Cranking. Now, we need to think about how these forms are gonna look. I think they're gonna be pretty basic. Obviously, I'm trying to speed run this, right? So you can sit here for hours and try and make it look awesome, but I think being clean, being simple is gonna be the way to go. What we wanna do here is we wanna render the form, okay? So to get started, we're gonna, you know what we're also gonna need to do? I wonder if we should create the form inputs, but what we can do first is just create here a new form object. Form.html.erb, okay? And we also need to jump into our controller and tell it to initialize a new form for us. So we're gonna go, a new item. So we're gonna go here, place is equal to place.new, right? Just so we have that variable, we can shove that through. And then when we go into our new, we've got our place, so we're gonna render our form here. I don't like to write the HTML really in these kind of index or the ERB files so much. I really like to lean on components here. So we'll create a component. It's basically a holder for all the screens. I like to really I use them as like a storage area or directory to store all the related things for this page. So what we'll do here is we'll create a new component, and that's where we'll actually shove the form in, I think is probably going to be the way I'm going to do it. But we'll just have a quick think. First things first, what I'm going to do is I've got another component that I've used is similar to form, which is similar to the button is the form component. So I'm going to just drop that in here. Nice thing when you do a few of these, you can start collecting little items in your own little library. Now, let's set up the form. So inside of our places, we're going to create the form. So it's going to be form with model, v1, and it's going to be place. Autocomplete off, do form. Okay, so that's just opening up a new form builder. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to render out form errors and form success. And we're just passing through that entity. And then if we have a notice, we're going to show it. No, that's all that's doing there. Actually, we don't even need that one. We just need the errors right now. And then what I'm going to do is for each field, right, we've got the form field component. And then here's the attribute. So we're going to call it title for now. This is actually a select. So maybe we should use this for doing the place type ID. So this is place type ID, and this is going to be place type, and this will be place types, which we'll have to pass in here, and then place type, and that will be the title, which is the kind of the label you see, and then the slug, but we're going to use ID here, and then this is not idea, this is a place. And I've typed all of these wrong. Place type ID, and we have to render a form. So inside the new here, we're going to just go. This is now where it gets a little bit funny for me. It's render partial, and it's going to be what are we controllers? Do we have to say that? I think it's just v1 / places / form. And then we're going to do locals. You can tell I don't do this often. And what we're going to do is we're going to say place is going to be the place we passed in. And then we're going to have place types. And that's going to be place type. So we're going to just have to define that up in the controller, which is sweet. So when we go here, we're going to go place types is equal to policy scope. Always when we're grabbing multi-records, policy scope that bad boy. But we're going to get an error because we don't have a policy scope for place type. So let's create one. Place type policy RB, chuck that, grab that, boom. We're not going to have routes, so we don't have to worry about that right now. Place type, resolve user admin all scope none, boom, done, easy. Place types, man, if we get this, let's see, what error do we have? Missing partial, v1. So it's v1 dashboard. That's what it is. v1 dashboard. All right, v1. Okay, so it's v1 dashboard. Let's see if that works. There we go, v1 dashboard path. All right, and we've got a little select box. All right. Accommodation, beach and town. Love that, there we go. So reusing components, which is just something that we have to do just to keep the speed going. So we've got place type. We've got our geo region. So that's another field we're gonna have to send through, which is we're gonna just call it, so it'll be geo region ID. And this is gonna be just called region in the app. And then this is geo regions, geo region, and place geo-region. The reason I have this here is also so that if you want to pass this through automatically and like set that, you can. You pass it in the URL, which is handy sometimes. So that's cool. So now we have to remember we need to actually pass through geo-regions. Right, chuck that there, and then back in here. Geo-regions, policy scope, same thing. Like you probably don't have to, but I just think it's good practice, to be honest. I think it's just good practice to always have these things. And then if you ever want to say, oh, actually, I want to scope that down or something, you've got it. And you don't have to go and try and implement it from scratch, which can be very challenging sometimes. Geo-region, same thing, admins all. We're going to probably have to fix that anyway because everyone should be able to see it. There we go. Accommodation in, or beach in town in Byron Bay. I think almost region makes sense to come first, to be honest. Set your region. So where you're making your thing. So it's a region, South Coast, and then it's accommodation, beach, or town. I love that. That's how simple it is. All right, now let's keep going. Let's go. What do we need? Title and description. So these two are slightly different, but you can see what I've created this component, and it just allows me to just define things and just do them so much faster. And I feel like, and it's always the same. So if you want to change the style, you can do it in one place. It's just so much easier. It's components are the best. Right? That's the one thing that for me that React can never be let down. It's just they brought that to the game. Title, that's good. And now description. So here we're going to go description. Look, I probably don't want that. Probably never going to pass in the title. Place ID. And you have to, I think you have to default it to make it go to please select. Yeah. Title, and that's description. And this is a field type of text. I think, is it text or text area? Text area, yeah. Blew up the whole thing, text area. There we go, love that. We just got to figure out why we're only getting this little bit of width here, which is a bit annoying. W full, it's the form width. Okay, now, probably don't want the form to be all the way across, it's gonna be too big. So, I think what we'll do, we won't touch the form should always be the full width. Right, I think the form should always be the full width. So, let's set the class here to W full, but then we'll contain it. Yep, so that's done the full width, which is disgusting on a big page. So, but that's fine. We'll let that do its thing. But realistically, you're going to wrap it here and say W full on mobile, but then medium W. I don't know. Give it a width. What do you reckon? Tailwind. Give us some stuff here. Tailwind width. I reckon, you know what you can do? You can do a max width of like, I don't know, W96. Let's see what that looks like. Is that doing it? Are you doing it, son? Not if you don't put the quotation mark there, it's not. Yeah, like that's probably, I reckon we can go max width. And like, look, you're probably gonna have to do something like this, which isn't nice, but it's like, where do we draw the line, eh? 640? That's pretty good. Byron Bay, accommodation, title, description, love it. All right, now, inside of our form, we have to put a button, right? So we can render a button component here now. And this is going to be save place. And we're going to do variant large. Oh, that's supposed to be size. And then variant will be primary when we get to it. We actually go and define all that stuff. There we go, save place, right? Cool, love that. All right, let's hit save and see what happens. Okay, so we just getting this create, we're getting no template found because it's empty, right? So that doesn't work. So place is equal to place dot new place params authorized place, because we want to make sure you're allowed to create. So let's just jump in here and go place who can create only admins. All right, so we're just protecting every single endpoint. Now if place.save else end. Okay, so if the place saves, we're going to do something, otherwise we're going to fail. All right, so first things first, we're going to render new, right? So if you create and it fails, we're going to render new and say it's an unprocessable entity. Let's give that a crack. So hit save. Okay, we need to also make sure. So we just need to make sure that these things are defined. Right. So when you hit save, there we go. We're getting our error, right? So we're going, whoops. Obviously we need to color code this and whatever, but there we go. We've got that error message, which is coming from that form component. Place type must exist, geo region must exist. So that's like, okay, cool. Okay, so there's another thing that I also noticed, that we want to add title validation here, because you don't want to be able to create a place without a title. So we're just going to say validates title presence true. All right, so now if we hit save here, title can't be blank. Boom. Okay, wonderful. So let's see. That's the error piece. Now what we want to do here is we want to go respond to do format end, and we're going to do a turbo stream here. So format.turbo stream do end. And oh dear, if only I could type right. We're going to do that. So because it's a turbo request, and the way you can tell that is if you go inspect, forms are default to that anyway, but if we hit just save here, you can see in the headers that we are doing a text vnd turbo stream.html. All right, that's how you know. Okay, so that's doing that. All right, so what we want to do is we can redirect. So this is how I normally set it up. So it'll be place was successfully created, so it's going to give a notice. We're going to do, and then we're going to do an action, and we're going to redirect to the redirect path. Right. So usually what I'll do there with the redirect path is I'll have, I'll copy this here just so I can show you. It'll be, you can pass it through. So if you want to redirect somewhere else, you can do that. You pass the redirect. Otherwise, we're going to do the edit v2 path for the place. So it'll be edit v1 dashboard place path. Yeah, and then we're going to pass in the place. Okay, and that's our default. Cool, and that's going to set that, and then we're going to render out turbo actions. Okay. I like to do it here. You can do it in the views, but I find like doing it in the controllers is actually sometimes a bit better, like as you get bigger. So let's try it. So we're gonna go South Coast. The place is a beach or a town, and we're gonna go Kiama, and then we can leave that blank for now. We're gonna hit save. Geo region must exist. Maybe, what is happening? Let's check our console. Roll back. Unpermitted geo region ID. I thought we allowed that. Let's have a look. Yeah, I allowed geo region or geo region ID. Okay, that was on me. All right, so South Coast, Kiama Towns remembered everything for us, which is great. Hit save. And what happened? Nothing. Excellent. It's because, what has it done? It's inserted it, but it hasn't been able to redirect for some reason. It didn't redirect because it's an unknown action. And I believe there's something I have to add. I think it's a little library. Okay, so it looks like I added this in JavaScript, controllers, application, and then above application start, we're gonna add a new method to TurboStream, which is redirect, and it's a function and just visits that page. Cool, so that's it. Now next time we create, it should be sweet to go. So if we go back to places, let's render out and see if we actually start having some places to see. We should have some. Let's go and have a look quickly in Rails C, just a sanity check. Place.all. There we go, we got Kiama. All right, so we've added Kiama. We can also go add a new place. Let's go add South Coast town, and we're gonna call this Gerringong. Save it. Okay, and edit screen's missing. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. So if we do the same thing again, we can go into our views, controllers, places, and we can pretty much just copy paste the new, rename it, and we're going to call it edit, and that's back. It's going to be fine, and it's going to render this. It's very much the same thing, right? But in edit, what we can do is we can have the images and all the kind of other extra stuff. So the news is the quick one, and edit's where you can do all the good stuff. So pretty much exactly like this, but not. Place will be place, and then this is where we're going to use our little set place thing. So what we're going to do is going to be place equals place dot find params ID. All right. And what we want to do here is before action. Just going to make sure, double check it, that's all right. Before action, we want to set place, and then it's going to be only for these methods. So right now it's edit. Okay. That should be it. Okay, that's that. That's that. We've set the place, and we should be good to go. Now, what do we have? Unexpected end, places control. I think I've done something wrong here. For action, params find. Where is my mistake? 70. Damn. Set place. What have I done? Yep, so I think it's just this little guy here. Is that it? Ooh, one little space, love it. Okay, there's edit place, look at that. We can see it now. If we go Gerringongs, save. Oh, we need to do an update method, obviously. So same thing, so we need to also set the place when we do an update method. And it's going to be the same thing. And you can see we're repeating this the whole time, like these place types and regions. So I wonder if we could move them out into a different method, so we're not repeating ourselves the whole time. Like we could say set form dependencies here. If you want to write the whole word, could be set form deps would probably be. And that's just this. I might just do that, yeah, set, because we're quite used to saying that in the old programming world. Only and where do we want it? We want it in new, we want it in create, edit, and probably update as well. Right, then we can get rid of all this. Boom, boom, don't need you. All right. These become real lightweight. And then, so then we're gonna say in update will be if place.update with place params else end. And the same thing here. If we fail, we're gonna send them to edit. Otherwise, we're gonna do this whole song and dance. I think once you've updated, we'll send you back to place was updated, and this will be edit vdom. You probably just send them back there. All right, let's give that a feel. I want, like, we could send them back to the dash, like the list, which is probably not a bad idea. Yeah, see, it doesn't even do it, like, it's too fast, it doesn't even do anything. I reckon we send you back to edit, we just go to V1 dashboard places path, yeah? Let's send you back there. So we're gonna change it to Jerangongs. All right, now obviously we need to do the list screen, and that'll be the final piece of this puzzle. So let's close off all this, bang that away. Close all this off, we're gonna go app, we're gonna go views, controllers, V1, dashboard, places, index. All right, so this is our main content here. So now what I usually like to do is create like a component for each screen, right? So we're gonna do for this, in this instance, we're gonna go, not exit, we're gonna go Rails G view component, and I'm gonna go place. So we're gonna go dashboard. Yeah, so we're gonna go dashboard, so that's the dashboard. And then we're gonna go places. It could just be place list. I've usually done it like this, but it could even be places/list. I mean, or could, yeah, something like that could be not bad. Let's do this convention. We're gonna go places/list, and then you go places/edit if you wanted to in the future, which is what we probably will do. So we're gonna go places/list. So that's our list component. That's like the main screen. And then inside of that, we're gonna have a component called place, and that's the actual tile, okay? So think of the one as just like a directory. So if we go view components, we're gonna go dashboard, place, and then in here we got our little place, okay? So the place list, what this is gonna do, it's gonna take in an option of places, and it's gonna default to a proc of place.none. Always just do that so that if you don't pass it in, it just doesn't crash. And then here, it's just gonna be, like this is like a section of sorts or a module, depends on your app. But in here, realistically, we're just gonna have like some sort of housing for it. So it'll be class, flex col, w4, this basic stuff, you know, like gap2. You could have a blank states in here, so you can see you kind of have this like component you can just drop in. And then you're gonna say places.each do place. And then in here, we're gonna go component, and it's gonna be dashboard, places, list, place. We're gonna pass in the place. And that's it, right? So that's how we're sending in our component. And then in here, we're gonna have option place. Okay, let's see how we're going. So in here, we're gonna just drop in our component. So we're gonna go component, dashboard, places, list. And the places are gonna come from places, variable that we define in our controller. So controllers, V1, dashboard, places, controller, index, places. Great, ready defined. Let's see. There we go. It's easy as that. Look at that beautiful list. So that's how we do it. Let's finish this and take it home. So we're going to go here. This is becoming an article. I like to do list things as articles. try and kind of stick to the semantic or the correct tags. Class ID is important usually, so we're going to use here DOM ID of place. This is good if you want to like delete them with a cog or something and you're going to use turbo to get rid of it. But for now we're going to go for flex. It's going to be w full. And what are we going to do here? See, I don't even have an idea of what this looks like yet. So it's going to go div class w20 h20. This is going to be kind of like the picture, because I think what we'll do is we'll set like a picture. I mean, that might even be too big, but we're going to go bg gray 500 rounded large. Let's see, there we go. Yuck, but whatever, let's make it lighter. Yeah, this kind of gets the vibe. Cool. That's the image. Then we're going to have a div in here, and it's going to be flex col div, and then we're going to just really what we're going to do. What we're going to do? We're going to go span. We're going to have the title here, right? And then we're going to have the span. And this will be the place region. So it'll be geo region. Now we need to make sure, because we're doing an n+1 query here, let's make sure that when we're fetching our places, we're going to go place. Now we can do it right here. Include the geo region. Okay, because we're going to reference that. We also want the place type actually. That's another thing, the place type. So include the geo region in the place type. Now let's hope nothing breaks. Includes, there we go. All right, so it's, there we go, we're getting there, it's looking decent. So we're gonna go items center, justify center because we've changed it to a col. That always gets me for sure. Let's chuck a gap in here to give some space. Boom. Jarring gongs, that's annoying. Okay, so that's that. And then we're probably gonna have an action on this side. Let's go here. I'm gonna gap 1 or 2, but this will be a button. And this is going to be edit. Variant, this will just be an outline. And the size will be medium, or even small. Probably have a cog here, like realistically. It's a cog place. Attributes, href, and this is going to be edit v1 dashboard place path, and we're going to pass in the place. I hope I got that right. I need to make sure I render that with an equals. Cool. We want item center here. So that button, hey, come back. That button goes like that. This one's to go all the way. So it's going to be margin left auto, because you want you all the way to that side. Excellent. Class here. Let's go font medium. Is that right? Font, what do you... and this one we want class equals text small. Yeah, that is medium, I guess. Okay. And what we can do here, man, I keep missing these tags. The region, and I guess we could also do place time. Town in the South Coast. So that's interesting. We could even chuck another span here. In. Because always in a region. Town in South Coast, town in South Coast. Excellent. And if I hit edit, Gerangong, save, boom, boom, there we go. All right, there we are. So what we have done is we have done a few things. Can't even remember. We've set up this, the forms. We've now can create, edit, update a place, which is great. We've prohibited that or locked that down so no one else can get it except for admins, which is cool. So that's looking cool. And what else did we do? Check the Git. We've set up a few components. We set up forms and locking in. So that's looking good. So now, like obviously there's a few more things we want to do, but now that we can add places, that's great because we can add places, which means we can add listings, right? So that's what we need to do, step one. What we're going to do next is be able to add places. And then, we're going to add listings. Once we can add listings, we can render those listings on the homepage. In between that, we also need to start probably working with some active storage to add images here, because this is super lame. So we don't want that. We want to be able to set the main image. But you can see it's quite quick. Like I'm doing this on the fly, no designs, nothing, just straight out of the head, still managing to pump through it. You could obviously have used lots of tools to get here, but I like to do something, just, do it by yourself. Learn it from scratch. It's very handy, especially when things go wrong. So until next time, catch you on the next one.